folks, and welcome to the post-race show for round 11 of the Canadian E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series Season 3, and also the opener of the Season 3 playoffs, the Fix Auto Charlottetown 200 from the virtual Michigan International Speedway. And just like in Season 2, it produced an absolute barn burner of a finish. And tonight, the man standing, it seems like this was coming for a while, but he got it done tonight. It's the number 18 GTR Motorsports Toyota of Mike Nickens out of Jacksonville, Florida. Mike, finally.
Just like my favorite driver, AJ Allmendinger, I'm going to give you guys a let's go, baby. Let's go. GTR, baby. Man, that was a fun race, and that was incredibly nerve-wracking those last 5 or 6 laps. Whew.
I was going to say, I think I can still kind of hear it in your voice as we're talking here. So I am definitely looking forward to hearing things from your perspective. But before we actually get into the race itself, we kind of talked about it a little bit before we started the recording here, but it seemed like you were so close so many times, like just the way the season developed. Obviously, you don't have to look much further than Gateway for just how close you wound up being. So now that you've got it done with all those things in the rearview mirror, so to speak, how much more satisfying is it to get into victory lane here tonight?
Well, I mean, like you said, I came so close so many times, and for one reason or another, it just wasn't meant to be. But I think because of all those things happening to me, it just made me push a little bit harder, and I wanted it that much more. And what better time to do it than the first race of the playoffs? So from what I understand, I'm locked into the next round, and I couldn't be more excited to head to Watkins Glen next week, and then Texas after that. So, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, and obviously a little bit tighter this year with just the 2 races in each round, so that just adds a little bit more importance to that first win. And again, you kind of alluded to it already, but just again, how much sweeter is it now that you finally, like, that it happened for you in the first round of the playoffs, as you were just referencing?
Let me tell you, it's sweet. I've been wanting one of these things since I joined the league at the beginning of the season, and I mean, I got close in the regular season, but just when it comes to playoff time, you just got to go. You got to make the moves, and you got to go. And it makes it so much more sweeter winning the first race of the playoffs and knowing that next week it's kind of like the monkey's off your back, and you can just focus and just kind of go out, and business is kind of done. You can just go out and have some fun there at Watkins Glen. So, man, this one was sweet tonight. And on a personal note, Michigan is one of my favorite tracks, one of my best tracks, and I've never actually won a league race at this track. Just like races earlier this season, for one reason or another, I've come close and just not got it done. But tonight, the stars aligned, and I found the number 18 GTR Motorsports Toyota in victory lane.
Yeah, and again, we're going to discuss all of that, but in talking about all this, I think back to last season. Obviously, your teammate Jacob Nelson won at Michigan last year, but
Yep.
Tonight, obviously, you were running with both Jacob and Jose at different parts of the race as well. Yep. So it seemed like GTR had a really strong presence here tonight, whether it's you guys or obviously the sort of distant partnership with Tornado Alley as well. So what was it kind of like for you being able to kind of run in that pocket with those guys pretty well throughout the course of the race?
Well, my teammate and I, Jacob, we started on the front row together, and obviously the inside's going to prevail on these restarts more often than not. So I was able to tuck in right behind him there in second, and I just kind of rode. I wanted to play the team game there, ensure that we got 1 and 2 in the stage. Unfortunately, Jose got caught up in something there in stage 1, so he was kind of fighting back the entire race. But Jacob and I, we locked down stage 1. And then stage 2, we were on lockdown there, and then some fuel strategy at the end got Tornado Alley back into it. But after that, I mean, stage 3, just try to stay out of trouble, be conservative until you get a little group that gets farther ahead than the rest of the pack, down to 6, 7, 8 cars, and you can kind of race it out and see what kind of strategy you want to employ there. And tonight, it was the right one, and great teamwork. Can't thank Jose, Jacob enough. They've been helping me, and I've been helping them all season long, and it's really a great partnership, and can't wait to see what we do the rest of the season.
Well, you put down a bit of a key phrase there and given that answer, staying out of trouble. Let's go ahead and talk about those
Yes.
last 10 laps or so. Starts with you, obviously, catching Bob Drew the third first off, and then obviously the rest of that lead pack comes in, and then it basically becomes, the equivalent of a masterclass in defending. So take me behind the wheel of that finish now that we've gotten a few minutes to kind of breathe and think about it a bit.
Yeah, Bob Drew, he pitted 3, 4, maybe even 5 laps ahead of me. So I had the fresher tires than him, and I knew I was going to catch him. Now, I pitted 1 lap before the guys behind me, and they came out with 1 lap fresher tires and the draft. So I didn't know whether they were going to catch me or not. And then about 5 laps into that final stint, I realized, yeah, they were going to get there. So once I got to Bob Drew, I had to make that move as soon as I could to see if I can't, check out from him and maybe he hold up that second group just a little bit where I could get a gap. But no, it didn't play out like that. I did get around him, but he was able to stick right with me, and the pack caught up. And that last 5 or 6 laps, I was blocking the low lane, I was blocking the high lane, I was doing whatever I had to do to keep everybody behind me. I know I threw a block on Ty with 2 to 3 to go there going into turn 1, and I apologize to Ty, but it's a racing deal, and I wanted this so bad. And man, that was exciting racing, Jordy. That was crazy. It was wild. I don't know how it was from the booth, but on the track, it was stressful.
I needed a few minutes to get my voice back, maybe a cigarette or two. Just kidding for the kids who might happen to be listening to this. We are a smoke-free network. Yeah, but it was obviously a fantastic finish to watch from our side. Obviously, it went right down to the line there at the end. And now in thinking about all that, obviously we talked about the close calls earlier. Knowing you're in that situation there at the very end, does that grip on the steering wheel get just that little bit tighter?
Like I mentioned earlier, it pushed me, all those close calls. It pushed me, made me want to get one of these more so than maybe when I started the season. I'm very experienced on this game. I've been around a while. I've won championships elsewhere and many races elsewhere. And, I don't really have anything to prove to anybody per se, but all these close calls this season, it made me want it more. So I'm here to stay here in these playoffs, and I'm hoping to be a force to be reckoned with throughout the remainder of this season. And I hope those last 5 or 6 laps showed that I was not going to let those Tornado Alley guys by. As good as friends as we are, I was not letting them by.
Yeah, not only are you here to stay, as you mentioned, you are off to the round of 12, the only driver who can officially make that distinction, obviously, with the win. And obviously that takes a little bit of the weight off next week as we, as you mentioned, head to our final road course of the season. That'll be good old Watkins Glen International for the Rampage Coffee Company 110 at the Glen. That'll go down next Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, again on the Canadian E-Motorsports Network YouTube channel. And now, obviously, the road courses have seen another Floridian in the form of John Peden just kind of run away and hide from everybody. So, for your perspective for next week, what do you think you would have to do to maybe get a repeat of what went down this week, or what would constitute a successful race for you in the finale of the round of 16?
Well, honestly, I love road courses, but Watkins Glen it's not one of the ones where I'm super quick at. I don't know why. I can't understand it, but I'd say I probably have a 5th place car next week, maybe 6th, somewhere in there. So I'm not expecting to win. I do think Jonathan Peden is the favorite next week, and I'm sure he will be out front leading many laps. But I think a successful race next week, maybe luck into a stage point or a playoff point for winning a stage. Maybe I can pull some strategy and maybe pick up an extra one of those. But no pressure next week. I'm locked in, good on points. So just trying to go out and have some fun at Watkins Glen. But yeah, keep an eye out for my buddy John. He'll be right up front there.
Well, it seems like there's something in that Florida water now. 5 race wins out of 11 from that state. Of course, Homestead, Miami being the venue for this year's championship race at the end. But we still got a few weeks to go before that. But now, as you mentioned earlier, you've got that monkey off your back. So congratulations on a very well-earned victory here tonight. Regan also wanted to point that out as well. And yeah, we'll see how you progress into the round of 12 and potentially beyond.
Yeah, thank you guys for broadcasting all these races. I've been wanting to get one of these interviews for so long, Jordy. Oh, I finally got it. But man, heck of a race tonight. I want to shout out Canadian E-Motorsports Network for throwing this together and putting it on and broadcasting these races. Shout out to my GTR teammates, Jacob, Jose, and shout out my GTR boys, Jonathan Pete and Chase Beatty, Keith Miller, Leo Jameson. Don't know if I'm forgetting anybody. If I am, I'm sorry. But man, it's a lot of fun, and I'm glad to be here, and I can't wait to see how the rest of the season unfolds.
Headlights out, it's go! He's going to get ahead of McCauley into turn 1. Cody Cudmore with a great start. The winner of the Centennial Autosport and Tire Spanish Grand Prix is Darcy Ford. McCauley's gotten a good start off the line, but it looks like Darcy Ford's gotten up into second. Italian Grand Prix is underway. Go, go, go down that start-finish straight. And he's got it! Cody Cudmore with an absolute stunner at the end. Stealing pole position. Here goes your winner, the 5190 Racing Bugatti of Jason Butler, your champion of the Formula One Series, Corbin McCauley.
Daniel Cudmore, he wins Season 2 of the Formula One Series.